notable things, though, from NBA media week or media days that, could say are interesting. This week, Jimmy Butler obviously was not a part of the Timberwolves media day, who just supermax Karl Anthony Towns as a slap to the face to Jimmy Butler, who recently pretty much made trade demands to the Minnesota Timberwolves and said, I want to go here, here, here. You need to trade me. I got a huge problem with this whole situation for a number of reasons. You and I talk about it. I don't think we've addressed it on the podcast heavily, but it's a situation that I personally don't like. The fact that players, especially ones under contract, you're not even a free agent. Players under contract can make trade demands and say, hey, not only do I want to be traded, but I'll only be traded to these teams. How do you, first of all, how do you even do that? Second of all, how do you as teams in the league even allow this to go on?
Right. Well, it started actually a long time ago. It's funny because nobody really talks about it, but it started with Melo. Carmelo Anthony was playing for Denver back in the start of his career, and he wanted to play for New York. I mean, Carmelo, he's from Baltimore, New York area, but he loves New York, basically. And he wanted to go play there, so he basically forced his way to the New York Knicks. That was the first thing I remember. You know what I'm saying? Like, in terms of a big name person coming out to the media and saying that, boom, I want to be here. Now, I'm not saying that other players haven't done it before, but they haven't done it to where it's been a big spectacle like it has. Kawhi Leonard obviously was the last one to do it before Jimmy Butler. And then, of course, Kyrie said, I want to be traded. Get me out of here. Now, I agree with you. I actually wrote a story on the Flagrant quite a while ago, actually, and it was more geared toward Kawhi Leonard about the same thing. I mean, players just sitting there, especially when you're under contract and you're making millions of dollars. I mean, I'm not talking about millions like $1 million, $2 million. I'm talking about 20, close to $30 million. And you're basically telling an organization who put all their money and their faith in you to rebuild their team around you, telling them, hey, guess what? I'm done. Get me out of here. I want to go to, and in Jimmy Butler's case, he's talking about, I want to go to the Clippers, the Knicks, or the Brooklyn Nets. And now the biggest story, now he wants to go to the Heat because the Heat are making a strong push for him. I don't know. I feel like you don't really have that right.
Not even that you don't even have that right, but you touched on it. Melo was the first one to really kind of make this demand, right? How did that work out?
Well, I mean, he got his wish.
How did that work out for the New York Knicks?
It was awful. It was terrible. It was terrible.
You're a player. You're not a GM. Right. You don't know what's best for me and my team. And so, like you said, the team you're on has likely, because the guys that we're talking about superstars. We're not talking about and we'll get on J.R. Smith in a second. We're not talking about the J.R. Smiths of the world. We're talking about superstars. So I have built a team in the city that you're currently in around you.
Right.
And built a budget and built a plan around you. And now you have demanded to be traded. You want to go to these specific teams. Okay, sure, come on in. I've allowed you now to play GM to my new team. And now I got to figure out how to work you into whatever else I got going on over here. Nah, you know what I mean? Like there has to be a line in the sand where you have to say, I get that you don't want to play here, but I pay you a bunch of money to play here. So either you're not going to report, or you're just going to forfeit your money, which you're not going to do, or you're going to come play, and that's it. Because you can't play GM. It didn't work out for Melo. I don't. Obviously, Kawhi Leonard, when he made his demands, Greg Popovich and the Spurs said, "Yeah, okay, I hear you, but nah, we're gonna send you as far away from over here as humanly possible." Right. And so with Jimmy Butler coming out, and again, he's a good player. I don't think Jimmy Butler's the type of player to be able to step to any organization and make demands.
No, not at all.
You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, you're not carrying my team to a finals by yourself, not even a conference finals by yourself. So you're not in a position to make demands. You're a good player. You should be respected. You should be on a team that, respects your talent and you can play with. And so I will transition and I'll play devil's advocate on this other side of the issue is Tom Thibodeau and the Timberwolves sideways for even trying to rebuild this Bulls things in Minnesota anyway, though. You know what I mean? Like that part of it is terrible on them as an organization. I don't know if that has anything to do with why Jimmy doesn't want to be there, but from an organizational standpoint, y'all got some other issues other than just Jimmy Butler not wanting to be there. I don't know what y'all are trying to replicate over there in Minnesota, but again, talking about things that didn't work out. It didn't work out in Chicago.
Right.
And now you're trying to do it in Minnesota.
Yeah, no, and I agree with that. And the thing about Jimmy Butler, I agree with you in terms of when you're saying that he's not a max star player. I mean, Jimmy Butler, let me be honest, he's the second best player on any team. He wasn't even the best player on his team on the Timberwolves. I'm gonna be honest with you. Karl-Anthony Towns is the best player on that team.
Yeah.
He's not a great defender, I'll give you that. Jimmy Butler is tougher than him in terms of mental state, yes, but he's not the best player on that team. So for you to make demands, you don't have the right to do that.
Right.
Now, the crazy thing about this world is we criticize LeBron and Kevin Durant for their moves that they made when they left their teams. Now, you think about that. They left in free agency. Not once did you ever hear that they were going to force their way out of Oklahoma City or Cleveland at any times. When LeBron went to the Heat or when he went now to the Lakers, he didn't leave early. He didn't say, I want you to trade me now, get me out of here. Never said that. When KD left Oklahoma City, he never said that. He played 9 years with that team, and he went to Golden State Warriors. But be criticizing the depth still to this day for leaving that team and coming to play with the Golden State Warriors. We don't because we Golden State Warriors fans, but the rest of the world does. But yet and still, Kyrie, Kawhi, Jimmy Butler now, Melo back in the day, nobody said anything about that. Right. Not one person has spoke on that issue.
He doesn't want to be there. He's not being treated fairly. I'm gonna be frank. Fuck how you feel for $30 million. You know what I'm saying? Like as a fan that's paying close to $150, $200 a ticket to come see you play, bro. Your personal little feelings and you don't want to be here. Like, and we talked about this issue too. I know we could go 100 different ways on this topic, and maybe we get some other people on the show at some point and we talk about this with more people. But then the other issue is, and we brought this up, is now with people starting to make trade demands, right? Because, one of the teams that was potentially interested in Jimmy Butler is Cleveland.
Right.
And you got guys like J.R. Smith coming out and saying, oh, well, if, they trying to trade me to Minnesota, you better cancel that ticket. You could cancel Christmas on that. I ain't going to Minnesota. So now, you're empowering guys like J.R. Smith to try to say where he isn't about to go as well. And you're going to vacate cities that players don't want to play in. Like, you're going to make it so that guys, I don't want to play in Salt Lake City, Utah no more. Utah's never going to be able to keep a star. I don't want to play in Minneapolis, Minnesota no more. Timberwolves will never be able to keep a star. And now what happens to those teams? What happens to those ticket sales? What happens to those fans when you start making these demands and players get to become GM and get to be where they want to be? Then, everybody's going to be in New York, LA, Miami, Texas, where you don't got no state taxes. You know what I mean? Everybody's going to be where they want to be.
Yeah, and that's the problem. And that's exactly where the NBA has to figure out a way to, I guess, get rid of this situation, because like you said, if everybody can go where they want to go, what's the point? Because if that's the case, you're going to have all these superstars stacked up on one team. Now, I mean, I get it. The Golden State Warriors have everybody, whatever, but they've done it they've done it the way that they were supposed to do it. You know what I'm saying? Nobody asked Boogie Cousins to come there. He called us.
Right.
You can't say nothing about that. But my point is, though, like you're saying, if everybody wants to go and join up with their friends, because the rumor is that Kyrie Irving and Jimmy Butler want to play together. So this is messing up Boston's situation too. Because if Jimmy Butler is sitting there trying to make demands to go to either the Clippers, the Knicks, the Nets, or Miami, that means Kyrie Irving in some ways has something to do with this too, because they can't control players from talking to each other.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They can control coaches from talking to players, but they can't control players from talking to players. So if they're sitting there talking about, let's go over here, let's do this, I'm going to be up in 1 year. If you just go over here, then I'll be up and I can leave. That's going to mess up the whole league. Now you're going to have teams, like you said, everybody gonna be stacked with one team. What's gonna happen to the Phoenix Suns? What's gonna happen to Phoenix?
Phoenix is gonna happen to Phoenix on its own.
What I'm saying? Like,
they don't need any help. They don't need any help being terrible.
You know how much I care about you, Phoenix. What's gonna happen to y'all?
Oh yeah, your parade. We need your parade.
Exactly. You think that Devin Booker is going to stay there? No.
Mm-mm.
As soon as I can guarantee you right now, Devin Booker's sitting in his head like, man, I don't want to be here. It's 300 degrees outside and it's winter. I don't want to be here.
Oh man.
You know what I'm saying? I don't blame him, but I'm just saying that's what people are gonna do now.
I mean, but and you're 100% right. If Oklahoma City doesn't find a way to win games together soon, I can see the same thing happening. Like, who wants to live in Oklahoma City except for Skip Bayless? I don't know anybody who wants to live in Oklahoma City. You know what I'm saying? And again, that shouldn't even be a factor. You worked your whole life, your whole college life. Some of y'all didn't play college. You've worked your whole life to play in the NBA.
Yeah.
Revel in that fact.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I saw a stat 2 days ago. There was roughly 91,000 Division I and II NCAA players. 303 got drafted between NBA and NFL in the last year. Wow. Revel in the fact that you play in a pro sport, making millions of dollars, do well at that, and then when you're in a contract year, a free agency year, you can move, you can make some moves, do it within the system, but allowing players to make demands while they're still under contract, playing GM is going to ruin the league. It's going to ruin small market teams and it overall, even big market teams, because even New York, again, with the Carmelo situation, you a big market team and you still couldn't get it done.
Right. Exactly. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. I get it. Players, they want to have the freedom to do whatever. And you know what? Honestly, if I was in the NFL, I'd be pissed off. I would be pissed off. As hard as they got to go through just to get a contract that actually makes sense for them, that if they don't get hurt, they won't lose all the rest of their money. I mean, think about this. Honestly, the 49ers have a contract thing with Jimmy G right now that they can get out of his contract if at the end of this year, and they will only owe $3.5 million for the cap. They paid him $60 million already because he's gonna get $30 million from this year. But they can get out of it where they want to pay him nothing after this.
Right.
Think about that. He hasn't played a whole season with y'all. Yeah, he got his bonus money and everything like that, but he hasn't even played a whole season with y'all, and they can get rid of him. Players in the NBA, y'all picking where you want to go play. You know what I'm saying? Like, just stick to what you do. If you want to live in LA, go buy a house in LA. You can play for the Timberwolves and still have a house in LA. You know what I'm saying? Like, just stay in an apartment. You don't gonna be there because you're gonna be on the road most of the time, and in the offseason, go to LA. Then when your contract comes up, if you're good enough, go play for the Lakers or the Clippers. It's not that hard.
Right.
Like, it's not that hard. Like, trust me, I understand. Utah is hard to play in, especially for Black people. There's probably not a lot of us. Not saying anything. That doesn't mean that you can't live there. These people are nice over there, no matter what. Mormon, I went to a Mormon school. I know they're nice.
Carl Malone made it work. He
That's
made
what
it
I'm saying. Hang out with Carl. Carl ain't got nothing to do. Let's go hang out across ranch. You know what I'm saying? It's not a problem. Then when you get off season, go to LA or wherever you want to do. It's not that big of a deal. My point is, I'm not trying to say stop being selfish, but stop taking advantage of a situation and look at what you have in that situation, because every one of us is struggling trying to get up. You have it, and I'm not saying that you can't express yourself and voice your opinions, but don't be making demands when that's not your job.
Yeah, and preserve the integrity of the league for the guys coming next. You know what I'm saying? Like, there wouldn't even be a Minnesota for you to play on, Jimmy Butler, if guys before you took the same route.
Thank you.
So
exactly.
that's my whole take on that whole situation. So we'll see how that plays out.